Welcome. This is Jordan with Foodbevy, the online community for food and beverage founders. And today I'm talking with Alicia, co-founder of Lasto Foods, a line of squeezable nut butters. So let's jump right into it. I'd love for you to tell me a little bit more about how you started the company, why, and more about the product.
I have always loved cooking. I grew up in a family where food was always very important. My grandma was an excellent cook. My dad, he loves to eat. And so I went to culinary school in Mexico City. And while being in Mexico City, I studied and worked at the same time. I worked at some restaurants in Mexico. I also worked at a restaurant in Tulum. And so both working and studying at the same time. And I absolutely loved the restaurants. I loved the rush. I loved the adrenaline. I loved just being there, the people, the energy. I loved it. And then one day, I swear, all of a sudden, I woke up and I was like, I don't know if I want to do this anymore. I think this is too much. And so I was living in Mexico City at the time. And, I gave it a thought, and then I finally decided that, yeah, this isn't what I want to do. And so I came to San Diego, and originally I was just gonna stay here for like a month or two while I figured my life out. And I started cooking a lot, right? Because I had so much free time. And just like imagine I was constantly in the rush, like working in restaurants, service, studying. If I wasn't studying, I was doing homework or projects. And then I came to San Diego and I was like, I've got nothing to do. Like, what am I going to do? And so I cooked a lot. I cooked a lot every single day, and we in restaurants, we use a lot of squeezable bottles for everything. So we do sauces, dressings, emulsions, everything. We put it in a squeezable bottle because it's easier. It's easier to portion. It looks prettier. And so I loved nut butters. Like, I was obsessed with peanut butter, almond butter, cashew butter. I love them. And I wanted, and this is, I don't know, I wanted to get like the perfect drizzle of almond butter. And I found that I could not do it with the regular peanut butter and almond butter that I bought at the store. You know how it, like, the solids are, they remain at the bottom, and then the oil separates from the solids, and you have to constantly be churning. And so what I used to do is I used to buy just like the regular almond butter that you find at the store, and then I would put it in a squeezable bottle, but then it would get stuck in that squeezable bottle. And so that's when I had my aha moment, and I was like, why hasn't anyone made a squeezable peanut butter? And that's when I kind of like started researching of ways, because also I like, you could do a squeezable peanut butter if you add oil or if you add sugar and if you add all of these chemicals, but I really wanted my almond butter and peanut butter to have just one ingredient. And so I started researching, and I started doing a lot of testing and trying and all of those things. And then I finally came up with the formula to make a nut butter, a one ingredient nut butter. And then I packaged it in squeezable bottles. And so in this transition where I was like researching into this product, I tried many products. Like, I've always known that I wanted to do something on my own. I always knew that I wanted to be an entrepreneur. And so I was like, maybe we can do almond butter. Maybe we can do protein bars. Maybe we can do granola. And I had so many ideas. And I remember telling my dad all of them. And he would be like, no. Yeah, granola, everyone sells granola. Protein bars, the snack aisle is super saturated. And we started, so we started that. And then after a lot of no's, my sister and we pitched this idea to my dad, and we were like, this is, what do you think about this? And when he tried it, he was like, yeah, I think it's a great idea. And then he was like, I'm going to support you. And he jumped in with us. And now it's the three of us working in this project.
That's amazing. So talk about some of the challenges along the way that you experienced in building the company. Like, what are the biggest hurdles you had to overcome besides the formulation?
I think just starting, like, I really did not know, like, I didn't have like a time frame, or like what do you do first, then what do you do next, and then you have to go to the FDA, you have to get your permits, and then go to the commercial kitchen and take all the license, it was too much. It was super stressful at the beginning, but also now that we are scaling the company, um I think that that has also been really hard. Like for example, so we used to, before COVID, we would sell, I don't know, x amount of bottles, and then now we're, I don't know why during COVID we, like, this thing went up and we're selling a lot more, so we're in this scaling of the company phase, and things with production, just like admin work. We have a lot more clients now than we did 2 months ago, and so we grew too fast that we had to catch up. But yeah, that it's been a fun ride.
Are you still making the products yourself, or are you working with a
No,
contract manufacturer?
no, oh yeah, we make it ourselves, but we have people working in production for us.
Okay,
Yeah,
no,
I
that's
don't.
really great.
I'm super perfectionist. I feel like I like doing my own doing my own things. I can control the quality better. Like, I'm not against it. It's just for me, I like doing the production myself.
It sounds great that your business is starting to grow, in spite of COVID, with everyone kind of staying at home. How do you plan to capitalize on that momentum over the next, 6 months, 12 months for your business?
We are going to be increasing production a lot. Um, and then we have to do a lot of sales calls and things like that. I mean, yeah, we're in the scaling phase, and there's just a lot of work that we have to do.
I know you're selling online now in a few
Yeah.
supermarkets in Mexico. Where would you like your products to be in grocery in the US? Do you have any kind of target retailers that you like?
Well, I would love to be in like the specialty food markets. I think it's like where we would like to start. I would start with the local ones though. I would start with like the local supermarkets here and then move from there. But yeah, eventually the goal is to be in Whole Foods and Sprouts and all of those big supermarkets.
So I know you're a couple years into your journey now. What advice would you give another entrepreneur who's looking to start a food business?
A lot. The first thing I think is that you have to be willing to not have you have to be a person who can do well with risk, because being an entrepreneur is a roller coaster of a lot of things. It's a roller coaster of emotions, it's a roller coaster of money, it's a roller coaster of many things, and you need to have that character where you can really put up with the pressure of, we don't know what's going to happen. Like, we will not have a steady income in a lot of years, and you have to wait 2 to 3 years for this to actually work, and most companies don't work, and so you have to be willing to risk that. Also, I would say, um, when you're first starting, don't quit your job until you know that this is actually gonna work. um that's a big one. And also, I think that seeing opportunity in crises like this, or like seeing challenges or as opportunities, is always good. Like for us, for example, COVID, I remember having like my inner talk, and there's a question I always ask myself: how can I see this differently? Like, how, like, what is this trying to teach me? Like, what am I not seeing? And so after that moment, I was like, okay, maybe my sales will drop, but I will have 2 3 months to do everything that I've ever wanted to do but had no time to do it. And I swear, COVID for us was the best thing that could ever happen, because that's when we really started investing time in creating a brand. And I think that before COVID we had like 4,000 followers, like I don't remember, but now we have 20,000, and they're all organic. Like, we have not bought a single follower. And so, if you really focus on, you know crisis always has a gift and always has an opportunity, and I think a good entrepreneur is a person who can see an opportunity in everything. Yeah.
Very insightful. I think that's great. Alicia with Lasto Foods, thanks so much for being my guest today.